Well, this is going to be different. It's coming up on 10 o'clock. I'm just now starting up the grill. I've got it completely packed. I'm going to do a brisket tonight, a full 15-pound brisket. So it's going to cook through the night, and I'll be back in a few minutes when it's daylight. And that'll be pretty good. So I'm going to let this all warm up while I'm finishing getting the brisket ready, and then I'm going to bring it in, put the probe in it, and get it basically put to bed here and just let it cook all night. I've got this filled with the Kingford Professional because I'm looking for the longest burn successfully. If I put in the Lazzari, I'll probably get a 7 or 8 hour burn. If I put in regular Kingfords, I'm thinking I'm hearing 10 to 12. So with the Professional, I'm hoping that it'll be like 12 to 14 hours. But in any case, I want to get as much going as possible. Got it filled up to the top. And then I ended up putting in some more of the pellets that I had just to kind of fill in all the extra spaces. So at this point, if I push the button, you can see that the tumbleweed is doing its job. It's coming out really nice. So that part of it's going. I did put a few Kingfords in the bottom of the ash bucket, so they'll kind of like take over after things kind of get going a little bit. After I get the brisket in, I'll double check what my level is here, and I may put just a few more in just to make sure it's topped off. So that's what we're getting ready to do. Meanwhile, I'll close this. And on with the show. Okay, so I have a few more, I just got back. I have a few minutes before bringing out the brisket. So I still need to build up a little more heat in the grill. It's just warm, but I want to get it to 225. I'm going to go 225 all night. It was a 15-pound brisket. It's a point and a flat. I trimmed it last night and seasoned it, salt and pepper. I used a little smoked paprika, and then wrapped it and put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. So that is now seasoned. It's been out now for about an hour. It's going to be out for about another half hour. It's getting more to room temperature. And so with this getting all up to speed, I'll be happy with where I'm at there. So it's kind of what we're doing. And then of course I'll be checking the temperatures tomorrow morning and then see where this cook takes us. So I'll do it fat side up. What else? As I try to learn these things. I'll have my phone app turned on. It's on the house Wi-Fi. So if there's an alarm that goes off, it'll wake me up and I can take a look at it at that point. I'm not anticipating any messages from here. So I've choked down the back vents to about 50%. Instead of the openings that they would normally go to, I've got them down. According to Nathan, I believe that also helps extend the cook time on the charcoal by just not venting it out so much. But I've also found that when I choke it down, I get a lot of smoke out down here at the bottom. So it literally drives the smoke down and out. And the good thing there is that I'm actually going to be cooking the brisket on the grate. I'm not going to be putting it up on the upper rack. And then you've seen the accessory pieces that I put in that sit on top of the stainless steel manifold with the lips. So that was allowing me to put a catch tray. So this is actually underneath the grate. So anything that will drip will go into here. I anticipate that not being too full by morning, but if it is, well then the grill has its own catch system, and probably it'll be one of the first times I've actually greased the inside of the pan, and I'm not, or the grill, and I don't really want to do that, but I want to do anything to make this cook come up. So what else? I don't know. I think that's it. I just wanted to be putting it all out there so that when I play back the tape tomorrow, I'll know what I did tonight. So I think that's it. Let me go on inside and double check on how things are going with. Okay, it's a couple of minutes before 10 o'clock. I wanted to have the 10 o'clock as my start time. Everything is going good there. And here's my 15-pound brisket. All right, boy, the smoke's going real good, getting into my eyes here. All right, at this point, the probe is in it. I'm going to hit myself, wrong button. All right, so the meat is in. Temperature set 225, 10 o'clock. Got water, hot water in it. Drip pan is underneath. Everything is good. So I guess it's time to take a shower and go to bed. I'm already tired. Well, it wasn't that much work. But I'm excited about seeing where this is all at tomorrow. So see you in a few. So I just came outside to film the patio with the smoke going on. So that's where the cook's going. I'm going to leave the lights on all night just to keep the party going. So I'll see you in the morning. Good night, everyone. Okay, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I just wrapped the brisket. It was at 170 and it's now up to 175, and the grill is coming back to temperature. It's coming back to about 225 to 230 in that range. So just thought I'd create an update. Good morning. It's Sunday, the morning of my brisket cook. Surprise ending here. Two ways of saying this. One, I get no credit for this cook. I can only be blamed for what went wrong. What I mean by that is last night I put the brisket on by 10 o'clock. I think we just have to go back a few. And by the time I got around to going to bed around midnight, I had gone back out just to make sure that everything was okay, and I opened up the gravity feeder and topped off the charcoal, and I'll eventually show you that. But I had it set at 225. I don't think I had it set at 230, but it's in my video here. So if I said it was at 230, okay, so it was at 230, but it started out, I believe, at 225. That was yesterday, so don't have real sharp recollection on that particular point. The meat probe inside the MasterBuilt goes to the controller, out the Wi-Fi to the phone, and around 3 or so in the morning, I got a little gentle beep, 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 and I went up and I took a look, and I only needed to do a simple adjustment. It's in the video. You've already seen it, so that's what I did. In any case, I was groggy then, but the point is that the stove was fine. And then I proceeded to go back to sleep, and enjoyed sleeping in till I heard the next beep, which was about 8:45, and that was telling me that the brisket had reached its temperature. I missed it. Let me let this motorcycle go by. Going back. Okay, so the motorcycle's put away. So, yeah, I missed it. At that point, at 8:45, I wrapped the brisket in a towel, took it into the kitchen, and put it inside the oven, so it's cooling off inside the oven. Now, with that said, I still haven't looked at it. I don't even know what I've got. So that's where I say that I can only be taking the blame for it, because I can't take the cook. The Master Grill, or MasterBuilt Grill, did all the hard work. Now, I can say it's juicy, because there's juice everywhere. I mean, it's like, when I wrapped it, I believe that's why I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning. It was to wrap the brisket. So anyway, I did a fairly good job, but there was a leaker on the side, and that's been taken care of with another piece of aluminum foil, so that it's sitting in the oven nice. It's not doing anything in there. But any case, I'm going to eventually show you how much charcoal I used for this burn. Easiest thing I've ever done. Put the meat in the grill and go to sleep. Completely backwards of any cook I've ever done on the Weber and everything else, where you nursemaid the thing all day long. I told you I live near an airport, didn't I? It was absolutely quiet before I started this video, and then now I got a motorcycle, an airplane, and a car. So anyway, I'm going to cut this short and just let you know that I plan on letting the brisket rest a long time. There's another cooking channel I watch. I believe he's called the Mad Scientist Barbecuer. He's got a 800-gallon side burner grill on a trailer that he takes around. And he says something that kind of rang a bell with me, that when he goes where there's competition, he said none of them, as far as cooks, ask him at what temperature, how long, what he did to the meat. They all wanted to know one thing, and that was, how long do you let it rest? So apparently backyard cookers, like myself, would normally let it rest for an hour, maybe 2 hours. Maybe the outside, 6. And where the professional guys will usually start around 6 hours and maybe even let it rest overnight. So being this is my real first full brisket cook, I'm going to just let it go for 6 hours. And at that point, then I'll open it up. I'll let you see it from the same time I see it. And then cut into it, see what the smoke ring is. I don't even really care anymore, because it's always good whenever I do it on this grill. The other thing is everyone seems to do the parakeet test. I don't know if that's what it's called, but everyone puts the meat on their finger and, like, sit, to see how easy it's been. So, I don't know. Sure, let's do that. And then some of them have aggressions where they grab one end of the piece of meat and the other and start pulling until it separates. So, I promise you there'll be no screaming during that process, and we'll get an idea of what that is. So, thank you very much. Now let's go look at the grill. And here we go. In the grill, over here on the side, I've got that Luke's water pan, and that was filled up 3 times. It was filled up originally, it was filled up at 3 in the morning, I think. Oh, and it was also filled up at midnight, or topped off at midnight. So anyway, and then I've got my pan in there that was catching some of the grease. I think probably half of it went into the bottom of the stove. So anyway, that was that. And then the business end of all this, which worked out really well, is that I was telling you that I was going with the Kingsford on this burn because I was looking for it to last the longest. And I may have to turn the light on the camera here. Let's see if I can. Okay, the light is on. So it's burned down, I'm going to say, to about here. So that's just above the burn box. This is the burn box here. So right now it's just a little above the burn box. And when I came out at midnight and topped it off, it was down to about here, about one layer of briquettes. And then when I wrapped it in the middle of the morning there, it was down to about here, and I filled it up. So let's see, about this much, and then this. So, I would say I almost burned the whole chimney, except for the fact that I topped it off. So there probably would have still been some briquettes in there this morning had I not done anything. So I'm kind of glad I had switched over the briquettes, because I know that the Lazzari that I like to burn would have burned faster, and it would have required me at least topping it off. But because this is the first burn in many cooks with briquettes in it, you can see the frostiness of how I'm starting to chimney up this thing. Also, my cover plate here, it's starting to look like, here it is, starting to look like it's been painted. So I'm going to leave it this way for a future video or two where it starts to blister, and then it will start chipping off. So more or less, that's just going to be a confirmation that the Kingsfords just do that. Not a damaging problem by any means. It's just that when it gets to the flaky part, it won't be moist or greasy-ish, and it'll just flake right off, go right on in, end up in the ash bucket, and ready to go with the Lazzari again and turn back to being white. So no big deal. The only other thing I would imagine you would like to look at is the ash bucket. I did put briquettes in the ash bucket at the start, and my guess is they didn't all burn. No, they didn't. So there's still some whole ones in there, and the rest of the ash is very fine. That's what the new grate has given me. However, I don't think it's the grate's problem that the Kingsfords down there didn't burn. Like anything, if you put a fire on a steel bottom, that steel bottom will pull away heat pretty fast. So I think that prevents the charcoal from burning. So like in a fireplace or on a Weber or anything else, you do have a fire grate, and our fire grate, of course, is up here. But I'm thinking I'm going to find a metal trivet that you would put like a pot on or something like that, that maybe is sold over at one of those import stores or something like that, and find one basically with the dimensions of this ash bucket, or close enough anyway, and sits really low, and then I'll put that in there. And I'm pretty sure at that point, when I add any briquettes or whatever, they'll burn up all the way. Because again, I can't blame that on the grate, because the other wood, or the other piece, there was no wood chunks. The other briquettes in there burned up just fine. So it's just a matter of luck, I guess. So anyway, that's it. That's what the grill looks like. again, it did all the work. There it is. And at this point, all I did was went along for the ride. So we'll leave this until later today after I take a look at the brisket and cut it up and stuff, and then maybe I'll come out here and clean this up after my usage, or save that until tomorrow. Thinking out loud. So the next time I have this turned on, it should be for the brisket. Well, there it is. I just unwrapped it. 15 pounds. I didn't have anything to do with this. It cooked all by itself in the MasterBuilt. So now to cut into it and see what we got. Okay, the flat has been cut away. I'll zoom in a little bit here. That's a decent looking smoke ring. And this is more towards the point. So I guess we got to cut off a little strip and then do the bird test. Okay, let's put that on our finger and see what it does.
No, it's falling apart.
So it bends.
Yeah.
Okay.
It bends.
So it's a little bit overcooked, I guess. As long as it's moist, though, that's the trick. You good?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
very good.
All right. Well, you're just saying that so you can have another piece.
Let
me try. Well, it looks like I get a smoky one. Oh, actually, that's probably better than the last restaurant I went to. Okay, I think I need to do a closing on this video. The brisket, I was surprised. It looked good. I knew I was in trouble when I got up here and the brisket was already approaching 210. I didn't think the brisket was going to reach 210 with the grill being at 225. I was very surprised there. But very adjustable. I mean, all I got to do the next time is get it closer to 200 and then poke for tenderness and then stop there. And I don't have to change anything else. So just one little adjustment is all I need to make. And then that would be so that I can put the meat on the finger, which I'm calling the bird test, because it seems like if you have a little bird at home, it's like, come here, it lands on your finger. I guess officially it's the bend test. But anyway, it fell apart at that point. And that was, in straight up terms, it was a cook that went to 210. And then it was a 6-hour rest with a towel wrapped around it, which, you know, all that internal heat kept cooking. So I would still go with the 6-hour rest next time. But like I said, I would probably not sleep so far into the cook. I would time it better. And an easier thing for me to do also is I wanted it to cook for at least 10 hours, which it sort of did, but I was hoping for like I hear 12-hour cooks, and to me that was the king target to go for. So I would probably cook it the next time instead of 225, 215 to get it to go a little longer. So that's two little things that I would adjust for my next cook. Cook it at 215, starting at 10 o'clock at night. That would probably take me, instead of 8:45 in the morning, that would probably take me more up to 10:30 or something like that. And then I'd be able to do the skewer test and get the meat off closer to 200, maybe 203. I find that sometimes 203, 205 is sort of a good target for ribs. I don't know if this equates to rib temperatures, but I would know that putting in a bamboo skewer would give me that resistance that I'm looking for, and then I would know exactly where I want to be. So that's how I did this cook. Hopefully, if you've got a MasterBuilt 1050, you would also be able to set yours at the if you're going to duplicate exactly what I had, it was 225 at 10 o'clock, and then it cooked all the way until the next morning, which was around 8:45, and unfortunately the meat had already, I slept in, so the meat had already gotten up to 210. So that's it. I was explaining that you would be able to set your grill for 225 like I did, and then try to pull it off closer to 200, or at least when it was tender, and that would be the only differences. So I used kosher salt, I used crack crushed black pepper, and smoked paprika, and that worked out well. I ended up cooking it with Kingford's Professional, and that's about as close as a video I've ever made where I'm trying to say if you follow those directions you'll get exactly what I got. You just don't want to cook it to 210. Cooking it to 210 and then a 6-hour wrap is not the way to go. I wanted it to rest. Otherwise, you probably, if it had gotten to 210, the smart thing could have been to not leave it wrapped. In other words, put it on a serving dish opened and try to get that heat to dump. But see, that's reacting to a mistake, and I wanted to stay to a recipe that I could duplicate and only make little adjustments to. So there's my thinking to that. So just getting to it a little sooner. All right, hope you enjoyed that, and it was fun having my neighbor over to give a little critique on it, and we'll see each other again on the next cook. Can you like and maybe subscribe if you get there? I'm really close in my hours, and it would be handy to have some of those likes going on there. Thank you. Bye.